All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a sales technique that is so common, you probably don't even think about it. But I promise, once you see it, you're going to see it everywhere. It's called add-on selling, and trust me, it's about way more than just making an extra buck. It's a really smart strategic move. I mean, who hasn't heard this, right? It's practically the most famous question in fast food. But that simple, almost automatic question, it's not just a habit. There's a reason it's become one of the most effective phrases in the entire world of business. Yeah, it's not some random afterthought. It is a deliberate, carefully crafted move. It's all about taking a single, simple purchase and turning into a much bigger opportunity. Not just for the business, but for you, the customer, too. So what are we really talking about here? Well, add-on selling is pretty simple. It's just the art of offering an extra related item to someone who's already buying something. But here's the absolute key. That item has to be relevant. It's all about adding real value. You know, like when you buy new leather boots and they suggest that special brush to keep them looking great. And believe me, this isn't some newfangled idea. This technique is a cornerstone of sales, and it actually goes by a bunch of different names. You might hear people call it suggestive selling or companion selling. Sometimes it's even lumped in with cross-selling. They all kind of point to the same basic idea, making the original purchase even better. So why is this such a big deal? Well, because it's not really about that one little transaction. A good add-on sets off a ripple effect that builds some serious long-term value for a company. Think of it like a set of dominoes. That one small helpful suggestion is the first domino to fall. It kicks off this whole chain of positive results that actually ends up making the entire relationship with the customer that much stronger. And you can see that chain reaction laid out perfectly right here. It all kicks off with a genuinely helpful add-on. That simple act of being helpful makes the customer happier. Boom, higher satisfaction. A happy customer? Well, they're much more likely to become a loyal one. And that loyal customer is going to spend more with you over their lifetime, which boosts what we call customer lifetime value, or CLV. Now, check this out. This visual really shows you the end game. You can see how getting customers satisfied and keeping them around directly fuels customer loyalty. And that loyalty, that's the foundation that holds up the whole thing, the ultimate prize, customer equity. And this is the big one. Customer equity is basically the total value of all your customers, present and future combined. It is literally one of the most valuable things a company has. And the crazy part is, it's all built from the ground up, starting with something as small as one perfectly timed add-on sale. Okay, so we get the why. It's super important. Now let's get into the how. This is the practical playbook, the stuff you need to know to actually add value without just annoying people. You know, there's a massive difference between being pushy and just being helpful, right? Pushy, that just makes everyone uncomfortable. But being helpful, that builds trust. The goal isn't to pressure somebody. It's to, say, explain how this other item might work with what they've already got. Or maybe even tell them a quick story about how it helped you. It's a total mindset shift from, I gotta make this sale, to how can I help solve a problem? And the sources give us some absolutely brilliant hands-on tips. It all starts with just talking to people, having a real conversation to figure out what they actually need. Then, and this is crucial, don't throw a million options at them. Suggest one really relevant thing. Of course, that means you have to know your stuff inside and out. And when the time is right, you can confidently go for it. Oh, and yeah, letting someone know about a good deal, that never hurts. But when you boil it all down, this is the golden rule. The whole strategy depends on making your customer feel comfortable and at ease. If they trust you, they're going to be way more open to what you have to say. Now, this all sounds great, but it's a really delicate balance. Because if you mess this up, you can end up creating the exact opposite of loyalty. You know what I'm talking about. It's that moment when a helpful suggestion crosses a line, and suddenly it feels like a pushy, aggressive sales pitch. When that happens, that whole value chain we talked about just falls apart. And the research on this is totally clear. Unwanted, out-of-the-blue add-on selling can really tick people off. And in a worst-case scenario, it can drive them away for good. There's a term for it, consumer aversion. And it's basically the poison pill for this entire strategy. Okay, so let's put a bow on this. When you walk that fine line the right way, add-on selling stops being a trick. It actually becomes a service.
And that brings us right to the main point of all of this. When the focus truly shifts to adding real value, it becomes a win-win for everybody. The customer gets a better, more complete solution, and the business gets to build that strong, profitable relationship we keep coming back to.
This chart just sums it up perfectly. On one side, the business sees more revenue, sure, but more importantly, it's building that long-term loyalty. And on the other side, the customer leaves with more value, more convenience, and honestly, just a better experience overall. So in the end, this whole idea of add-on selling makes us ask a really fundamental question. Are we just trying to make a transaction happen, or are we trying to start a relationship? And how you answer that question, well, that's what makes the difference between a simple one-off purchase and a strategy that builds real, lasting value.